moments of moving from there to here, between the stars and the moonlight's glare, capturing a glimpse of the light so rare, brightly shining our hearts declare. Radiant hearts, you shine so bright in the diamond moments of love and light, in the warmth of the love we show, the golden glimpse of our diamonds glow, kindness that we find, our hearts desire, the love we share in the radiant fire.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We are truly excited. We are truly so blessed to have an amazing author and a beautiful lady from all the way from New Zealand that is coming to be celebrated by us. So today is such a big privilege. And in 2 days' time, I will be traveling to New Zealand and I will be seeing a little bit later this year Wendy with my own eyes, and I'm going to have a hug with her. So today is a very special day for me. So, my beautiful viewers, do you have sometimes special days that if you can bottle that special day, that it will keep you forever? So I've got quite a few bottles that I kept in my heart forever. One is the one that I met Krista, one of our beautiful co-hosts, live in New York, and it was tremendous to able to hug her and kiss her here in front. And then another bottle of miracles. Beautiful Howard, my miracle man, came with a speed train for 45 minutes. He spent in his journey more than 3 hours to come and spend 45 minutes with me and Krista. How incredible. And another bottle when I met Laura for the first time. She blew me away. And then the last bottle I want to share today is when I met beautiful Wendy. I loved her the first day I met her. We had coffee chats. I felt this immense knowingness that I know this lady for years. But when I read her book, my heart even went more than loving her. Your book, my beautiful Wendy, is incredible. And it was an honor for me to be able to read your story, read your heart. So I am truly so honored that you are here. Thank you so much. I am going to ask you, first of all, to introduce yourself. We do it a little bit different today. And then I'm going to ask my co host to introduce them. So, my beautiful Wendy, can you please introduce yourself and tell us where in New Zealand you are in?
Thank you for that beautiful sentiment, Sanette. That really touched my heart. So I'm Wendy B King and I live in Christchurch, New Zealand. I am a life game changer coach. What that means is that everybody I meet and talk to, they go away and they go, "You have just changed my life," because you only know what you know. So I help clear the roadblocks that are in your mind and help you be you, your true self, and overcome the fears that have been holding you back.
I love it. I love it. My beautiful Krista, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Krista. I'm from Ontario, Canada, and I am a survivor of many tragedies, and I'm now battling chronic illness. And that is why I wrote the book, Skip the Pain, Experience the Pleasure. And my tagline is cut the crap that's holding you back so you can live the life you love. And when I say crap, it stands for clarity reveals all possibilities. So if you think about it, the way we talk, the way we think, the way we act all create our reality. I'm also a holistic healer, a Reiki master, and an international speaker. And I really just want to help get my message out, help heal others, and create more love and joy in this world.
I love it. Thank you. My beautiful miracle man. Can you
Thank
please
you.
introduce yourself?
Yes, I can. I am, you'll see us wear sunglasses today. I am the original Mr. Shining Brightly, of course. I am
Yeah.
Howard Brown, all the way from Michigan, USA. I know we're talking all over the world. They're going to put on their shades. And I am a Silicon Valley technology entrepreneur and a two-time stage 4 cancer survivor. I wrote my memoir called Shining Brightly because we have all been knocked down in life and in business and in health and in relationships. And we need to use the light of others to get back up again. And when we lift up others, we lift up the world. And that, at the end of the day, makes the world a better
Wow. Thank you so much, Howard. Before I go to Laura, so Howard, you will notice I didn't play our normal Soul Diamond Author's Journey opening video. I
Yes, I
played
noticed.
today Soul of a Diamond because for me, every of you, Laura, you, Howard, and Krista, you are my part of my soul of my diamond. But Wendy, today you are part of my soul of a diamond, the inner. And yes, I could have played our other video, but God have told me you can play Soul of a Diamond. So my beautiful Howard, I just want to say thank you for loving me. I love you very much. My beautiful Laura, can you please introduce yourself? And do it, girl, do it.
I know, I know. Well, this, I think for me, I'm aligned with that moment when you just explained why that song and that introduction to the show you played. I think when we look at Wendy, our hearts are with her on one level, but she and I share something around thought energy, and really using the power of the mind to empower others. So I love that. But I think we're all feeling a bit very gentle with this very empowering guest that we have here. But I am a thought energy empowerment leader around the world. And I really do believe that how we think about thought has a direct correlation on how we feel about ourselves and the world. And Howard just took the words right out of my mouth that I just taxed when he was sharing something. It really is about uplifting and enriching each other. I believe that starts with a journey of empowerment, in self, so that we authentically can then empower one another. And I just want to say, and we say this all the time to Sanat, you have created just such a beautiful example of humanness. And it is an honor to all really be a part of it. We really don't take this for granted. And Wendy, thank you. I look forward to really just sharing your beauty and for me your empowerment, the way you've moved through a challenging situation. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, my beautiful Laura. I am going to start with beautiful Howard because beautiful Howard can only get one question in normally and then he has his rapid questions. But I want him to have two questions and his rapid. So, my beautiful Howard, you are welcome to start, my beautiful one.
So first, Wendy, we've gotten to know each other just a little bit, and I just want to show you just deepest sympathy from the bottom of my heart. Okay, the loss of a child. There's just nothing that has the right words for it. It's emotion, it's feeling, and I wanted to tell you because I could be dead right now. I'm a two-time stage 4 cancer survivor. I live in the cancer world. We lose people every day, and it's not their will to live. It's because their cancer burden became too great. And I just wanted to start first by offering a blessing to you and to the child that you lost and to your family. But This is what we say when someone dies in the Jewish world. May their name and may their memory be only for a blessing to all of those who knew and loved them. Because that's what we have to actually grab onto, embrace, squeeze, because that's what we have. That's the important thing, that we carry them on in our memory, in our hearts, always. And I just wanted to share that, a prayer with you and a blessing to you, because reading your book, I had trouble getting through it because I empathize so much with you and with the coping and the journey. Could you share a little bit about the grief that you had to endure? And that's where I'd like to start.
Thank you so much, Howard. That just means the world to me. The one thing I want to switch around at the moment is the word grief.
Please.
Losing a child is not grief. Losing a child is a trauma. Now, that is one thing I was never told, okay? First of all, I want to say to any parent out there right now that has lost a child, the hardest part, as I say, wasn't losing you, it was living without you. And right back when I lost my Emma at 33 years ago, I was given a pamphlet to say, here is what you need to do to get through this tragedy. There was no support, nothing. And whenever I tried to raise it, when I could find the words in me to try and tell someone how I felt, that it was so painful, they would shut me down. So I felt so alone. And I want parents to know, you are not alone. You are not alone. Now, the trauma is when you have an experience, it's the event, and the meaning you give that. Those three things then make an imprint on your brain, and you feel as if this feeling is going to last forever. Yeah. So I felt that my world was over. The pain that I felt then and having no support was incredible. It was so incredible that within 4 days of Emma dying, that I developed this pain in my heart. And it was a pain every time I went to breathe, it felt like a knife was going into my heart. Now, to be fair, I actually wanted to die. Hand on heart, I was like, how am I going to get out of bed and live? Because I made Emma my world. She was my reason for living, and I want to talk about that later. But she was my focus, she was my world, and it was like, how does my life look now that she's gone? And it was like, I can't. The pain was so bad. I went to the doctor because I thought I literally was going to die, and I was diagnosed with Takisubo, which is called broken heart syndrome. And I had that pain in my heart for 4.5 months, and it just, one day I just realized it had gone. But she said people will die of that. People can die of it and have, and especially in the elderly, because if they've been with their partner for such a long time, they just go, right, well, I'm done. So I not only was living with the trauma, I hadn't had grief explained except through a pamphlet. There was no support. I did have a faith, and the thing that I want to emphasize here is that we have generations of people suffering. We have generations of people who have survived a war, who have also dealt with loss, and have just been told to get on with it, suck it up, because they had to survive. You come home after a war and the buildings are broken, people have died, every family next door has lost a son, a husband. They just go, well, you just got to suck it up and move on, okay? But that sucking it up, moving on, has suppressed all these anger, sadness, and it's been passed on to generations of people who are now just sick of society. They don't know how to express themselves. If they try to express themselves, they're shut down or told they're too emotional. And I am here to change that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that and explaining trauma, and that you were left to find it for yourself. And I've heard of broken heart syndrome as well. And thank you. I just I want to honor that just for a second, because it's very powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A beautiful Krista.
Yes, first of all, I would like to say I did have the privilege of getting the Kindle book of Why Me from Wendy before, and I remember reading it for the first time, and it really touched me in different ways. A lot of the way, Wendy, you think and what you went through, I can identify a little bit with, but it also brought so much awareness for me. So, I mean, I did lose my husband, and the same thing, you given a pamphlet of this is all the stages of grief, and when you hit here, then you're going to be okay. And obviously, as you touched upon and you talked about, that's not how it works. But something that is not in my notes, this is not what I was going to ask, but is coming straight from my heart, is I'm battling a chronic illness right now. I was given 4 years to live. This is my 6th year. And I was in a coma state and intubated. And I never realized the pain my parents and my loved ones were going through. I never looked at it from their angle of losing a child, the possibility of losing a child. And I know there's, this hierarchy. And again, you talk about this, we think, yes, it's natural and sad that we lose our parents. But it's not natural for us to lose a child. So I want to just give thanks for you to bring that up, because it really identifies that with me. So after I read your book, I actually spoke to my parents and wanted to have that conversation, and said, that must have been terrifying for you watching your daughter. So I made it, turned it around, as my stepfather right now is battling stage 4 cancer, but it's different. So I turned it around. And again, that was all thanks to your book, and really brought that awareness. So the way you talk about that literally changed my life. And I know it changed so many people's lives as I continue to empower and talk to other people about the grieving process. I like the way you phrase it and you word it. But so I will start now with my question. I love quotes. I use quotes throughout my book. And this quote nails it for me, because I say something similar. It says, courage isn't having the strength to go on. It's going on when you don't have the strength. And that's by Napoleon Bonaparte. Anyway, close enough. And I also say resilience isn't just about getting up. It's about getting up when you don't want to. So can you explain a little bit about why you chose that particular quote?
Because in the darkest, deepest moment, we know deep down in our soul there's only 2 things you can do. There's only 2 choices. You die, or you get up and you move, and you take half a day at a time. Sometimes in the early stages you take an hour at a time, but you only have 2 choices. And I know that so many parents in the past, and just recently, it's been too much. and they have taken their lives, or they die in a spiritual sense, in a physical sense, in that they give up, they turn to drink, they turn to alcohol, they sometimes turn to work or sex because the pain is so great, they need to avoid it. They want to shut it down. But what they are doing is they are transmitting their pain onto others. They are not only causing their own deep suffering, they are making it worse. They are transmitting their pain onto their family, who then the family takes it out into the world. You cannot logic your way through this pain. We've been told through all the generations, suck it up, get over it, just get on with life. Yeah, we do. You have a choice. You die or you get on. But do you want to actually honor that person? Do you want to actually heal your heart? Because your heart is where all your emotions are. Do you want to heal your heart? And it took me 30 years. I lived 30 years in suffering. I was going through the motions. I was so numbed out. I had 4 other children and I couldn't even feel them. They were there in front of me, but I couldn't feel them. And I was so sick and tired of being this. I felt like I was trapped in a body and I couldn't feel. And I just went, I have got less summers ahead of me than behind me. I'm going to find the answers. I'm going to find the answers, because no one, when I went to the doctor, it was like, we can give you medication. I don't want medication. I want someone to give me the answers. Now, I want to use this analogy, and losing a child is, the pain is so great, okay? And I want to I'm not trying to simplify this or minimize it, but if you have an operation, if you need to have an operation, what happens? You have the pain, you go to the doctor. They usually send you to a specialist. The specialist will then explain to you what the procedures are. Say you need a hip operation. This is what we're going to do. You're going to go through this and you'll talk to the anaesthetist. This is what we're going to do in surgery. Then, after surgery, this is what you need to do to recover. You won't feel great. You will go through a lot of pain, but you're not going to feel great. But at the end of it, if you do these exercises, you will come right. If you have a toothache, you can sit there and hold it till the pain gets so great you have to go to the dentist and you have to go through that pain. But what happens when that pain is gone? You go, why didn't I go sooner? So I'm here to tell you, you can suffer. I have done the research. I have found the answers so that you can go through that. You've got to meet that pain. But when you meet that pain, address that pain, you get the monkey off your back. Instead of you being drowning and pushed down, your loved one fills your heart instead of the pain filling your heart. And your loved one is here beside you. You are not suffering anymore. And the example another analogy I use is, that's all right for you, Wendy. That's all right. No, I went through 3 years of researching. I wanted to have a quality of life. I wanted to feel the joy of my children. I didn't want to be shut down. I was so shut down, I couldn't cry. I couldn't. If I felt an emotion, it was anger. I would be, hello, how are you? All the rest of it. And then something would trigger me and I would explode. And afterwards I would go, I don't even know what happened to me. Do you know what happened to me? There was so much sadness that it came out. And the person at the other end never deserved it. But Here's the thing about the little elephants. How many have we seen a little elephant in a circus with a peg and a chain tied to their ankle? And it tries and moves and moves and it pulls and it tugs, and it breaks my heart every time I see it on the TV. It breaks my heart. And then the elephant grows up, and here's this massive elephant with this little peg, with this chain, and it is just standing there. Why? Because in here as a child, a baby elephant, it thought, I'm not going to tug at that chain because I can't get free, because that's what I tried and it didn't work. We are trapped in our conditioning. Our generations of parents, grandparents, and they're not to blame. They only did what they did to survive. But they did not have the tools, they did not have the knowledge to say, hey, this is what we need to do. This is how we can support each other. And it's not about just sitting around saying, oh, yeah, I'm not feeling too good about this. You can't, that is not how you get through it. It is not. It is a journey, and everybody goes at a different pace. And the hardest thing, too, on losing a child is that your relationship, the stress on your partnership, because you are feeling so hurt, your husband, your partner is so hurt. It is the biggest pain that you can't actually comfort each other. It's like, I'm trying to get my head around it, you're trying to get your head around it. It is, so the relationship, it impacts so many things in your life. And you need to know how to navigate that. And again, I never had it. If somebody could come to me and say, hey, Wendy, this is what's going on. Like if you're having a surgery, Wendy, this is what's going on. And you have a choice to go through the surgery, the procedure, or you live with your condition. Okay? But this is what's going to happen. All right? You only know what you know. Mm-hmm. So anybody out there that says, no, I'm going to be feeling this pain forever, that's your choice. That's your choice. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And that's what my book is in 2 parts. It's in 2 parts. Why? Because like I said, part 1 is my story. Part 2 is that all the lessons you need to know is what makes you up as a person. You need to understand the generational trauma. You need to understand that your parents aren't to blame because they were emotionally retarded. They could not give you. When I reached out to my family for support, they couldn't support me because they didn't know how to. And their way of dealing with it, because they couldn't deal with it, was like, Wendy, pray harder. Rely on God to give you the strength. Hello? When you need surgery for your tooth or for a brain tumor, do you pray to God and just rely on that? No, you have to take action. You need help. Yes, that's part of it, but that's not going to get you through. So you need to understand what happens to our nervous system, what happens to our brain, what happens in our childhood that makes us feel like we can't express ourselves. So you will literally get insight into why you feel shame for expressing your emotions, why you feel you can't express yourself, but also how you can be. Because what we're taught in life, and this is what I'm so passionate about, when we're at home, when we're at school, we're taught what to accomplish. We're told, who do you want to be? Do you want to be a pilot? Do you want to be a movie star? Do you want to be a nurse? Nobody teaches you how to be. So we're all trying to impersonate all these people because they get attention, acceptance, praise, but we're not actually taught how to be. So when we have a major tragedy, we have based our life on our career, I base my life on my daughter bringing me happiness. So when she died, it was like I've got nothing to live for. We have to know how to live within ourselves as to who we are, what our treasures are, what our purpose is. My children are beautiful gifts. They are gifts. They enhance my life, but I cannot base my life on them. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, that is so beautifully said, and you explained it. I love the different analogies, and I actually use the one about the elephant being chained, as well as creating this limiting belief. So thank you so much for going into the detail because I know you said it from your heart, and our listeners on E360 and Diamond Beauties and Tanzanite Heroes and everyone else is just, I know, at the edge of their seat right now. So thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thank you, my beautiful Laura.
Yeah, well, I'm sure my tribe here can imagine where my mind is moving. There are so many vehicles that we could all hop into seriously and drive down so many different paths. I'm going to bring in the bridge between, I think, the becoming the shell of trauma, as you expressed, and becoming a life game changing coach, that transformational work. And I know you work with meta dynamics and all of what we can get into. But I want to reference something that you have on your website because I went beyond the book and I wanted to kind of get into your coaching and your mental mentality here because I think people are just hearing this, but really what it took to go through that and to now be a coach. That's quite amazing. You have a quote or a statement on the website. When we let go of wanting to change the past and we let go of wanting to control the future, one realizes that you are safe. I'd like to know from that beautiful, brilliant resolve that was always in you to carry you through, even though you didn't know it at that time, but it was in you because you came upon it. There is a level of empowerment that was in your nature. How did you connect to that that might be able to give a moment of kind of breathing some inspiration into the listeners when we are all going through something that you went through? Not exactly, but so I would like for you to bring that again, that brilliant part of your coaching that for me must really have been expanded upon from that trauma and that loss. And a side note, we all do not have to reiterate this heartfelt humanness to you for what you've gone through. But I want to honor you for not only going through it, but to take Howard Brown shining brightly for those of us that will and continue to go through some of the challenges. You've really given us, I think, something that we can hold on to help us get through. So, a little bit of empowerment uh, from your experiences.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, so it wasn't until really nearly 4 years ago that, as they say, you have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. And I just realized that I was dragging my backside through life, right? And I thought, we can blame, whatever happens to us, we can blame the world. We can say, why me? This is why it's called Why Me. We can go, why me? I was early on in that stage. Early on in my life, I was like, I'm a good mama. I'm a good person. I got all this love. And these people getting pregnant and aborting their babies, or they have their babies and they kill them. And it just made no sense to me. And I was, okay, I'm going to say it to myself. At that time, I was having a pity party. Why me? Okay. Why? What's right with a woman in Pakistan who is abused and what's right with that? That has acid thrown on her face because her husband thinks she's having an affair. Why her? What makes me, why is it that I can grow up in New Zealand where it's beautiful, there's no war going on, and then there's other people that are living constantly in a war zone? Why them? Okay, we have to let go of the why me. We have to, here's the thing, wait for it. And this is ingrained in childhood. When we're growing up, what books do we read? Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. You're going to grow up, meet the dream of your life, live happily ever after. You're going to grow up, you're going to go to school, go to high school, meet maybe your partner for life. You'll get engaged, you'll set up home, you'll have children, you'll grow old, and it'll be honky doodles. Well, it doesn't work like that, okay? We have to let go of our image that we have in our head. We can plan, but if we base our life on our career, of how our life should be, and that doesn't work out, we can either freak out, have a breakdown, go, why me, and give up. And settle for, well, that didn't work out, so what's the point of trying? Mm-hmm. Now, when I started studying, the first thing that I knew about myself, I took a real good look at me and thought, the thing that I need to, what is the one thing it was taking responsibility. What do I need to do? If I want to live a better life, what do I need to do? The one thing that stood out was that I was pretending to be coping. I was pretending that everything was all right, which was eating me up inside, because inside I was screaming. But it's uncomfortable for people to see the real you. And I thought, guess what? I'm not living this fake, false life anymore, because it's destroying me. And that's what so many of us do. We put on this mask that everything's right, everything's, oh, you must be okay, you're financially stable. Oh, you must be okay because you've got a house. Oh, you must be okay because you've got children. And inside, something inside of us, whether we are hiding a secret, that we were abused as a child, we were beaten as a child, we were told we were no good, we were not good enough. And each of us has this wounded inner child. We look like adults, we talk like adults, but we have this wounded inner child that is screaming for love and acceptance. So when I knew I'm going to drop the mask, if people don't like the uglies, too bad. It's like they're not my people. And I felt so alone anyway. I felt so alone. What difference is going to make? What difference is it going to make? Then I knew I was emotionally numb. I knew I wanted to feel and I couldn't feel. So I started researching emotions, and I came across the Coaching Institute in Australia, and they were holding a course on emotions. And I thought, right, that sparked my curiosity. Now, when I signed up for it, I had no idea my life, because of my action, was going to change. But just cutting to the chase a little bit, what happened, what was a pivotal moment for me, was that it was virtual. I was in a breakout room through Zoom. Now, I was in a room with a person who had also joined the course, didn't know me, never met. And what we had to do is we had to look at each other in the eyes for 2 minutes without talking.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? So many people cannot look at someone's eyes. What happens? You try it. You really want to connect with somebody, or you are engaging with somebody. It doesn't matter who it is. Look in the eyes, and what do?
Yeah.
Go away.
Well, we had to hold that space for 2 minutes, just staring at each other's eyes, and then we had to give feedback on what we saw, because the eyes are the soul to your heart. Now, I gave my feedback, and I had a young man, Michael, he would have been about 28, and he said to me, he said, Wendy, he said, your eyes are full of love, hope, passion, and sadness. He says, it's like there's a flicker in there, but there's a lot of sadness. And I just sat there and I just felt these goosebumps, this tingling come up through my body, up to my face, up to my eyes, and the tears started coming out. And it was the first time in 30 years that I had been seen. I had been seen as Wendy. I was not the mother. I was not the wife. I was not the daughter. I had been seen. Somebody looked into my soul, and that was the whole purpose of and saw who I was. Someone seeing you for who you were. And there was no shame for who I was. He said, there's so much love there, but it's stuck. And then, boom, we're back into the room. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was in a class full of over 100 people, and the tears were just streaming and streaming. For the rest of the afternoon, I could not stop crying, but I was in a safe space. And that from that moment, that's when my emotions I was able to start accepting my emotions. I was accepting me. I was accepting me. It was okay to be me. I did not have to pretend anymore. And to cut a long story short, because of my research and because I dropped the mask, and the things that I know and feel is that I never knew what the possibilities were, because I was settling for what somebody had said to me through the generations. You'll always be that. You'll never heal, Wendy. You'll take it to your grave. You will never you won't get over it. You will move through it. It's a journey. But guess what? Life is a journey. When we are set in our ways about how it should be, we get so tuned up on the negative of poor me that we don't embrace the day we even have. And that's what that is about. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And Howard and Krista, you know that. I know that. You've been there. So what do you want to do? What do you have a decision to make? You are responsible for your life. Stop listening to what everybody tells you what you should and shouldn't be doing. Live your life, because tomorrow is not guaranteed, and you have to let go of how it should be.
Yeah.
You getting the glasses. Oh, that was powerful.
I'm going to just quickly say, I'm going to empower the drop. This is going to be my new thing, empower the drop. Whether you get it or not, we do. I love that. Thank you. That's what I wanted to bring that that part of you there, that you arrived upon yourself, you felt it, you authenticated it, you dropped the mask. It was about you and you only. And that opened up, I think, a transitional time for you, which changed it all.
Yep.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
So, Wendy,
Wait, I guess that.
all the question I wanted to ask you've answered already. I
They're all
even
done.
went and fetched the book of Tuesdays with Maury because there was a question there. You've
Yeah.
answered that as well. Whew. So
I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
go to I'm gonna go
Okay.
to beautiful Howard because he needs to do his rapid and our show is almost finished.
Yes, we're
Can
going
I,
to. So
can I,
go
sorry,
ahead.
can I just say one thing? One more before you wrap it up. My new mantra. Instead of the hardest part wasn't losing you, it was living without you. My new mantra. Every parent, please just feel this. If you believe in heaven or not, or an afterlife, it doesn't matter. But imagine if you went and saw your loved one and they said, Mama, Dada, I'm so disappointed. You had a life to live. You could have kept my memory alive. You could have told me all the things you did and you didn't do it. Why? Why, Mama? Why, Dada? So my mantra is, I am living for you, not dying because of you. I am living for you, not dying because of you.
Empower the drop.
Very, very powerful. So I want to say,
Yeah.
I know that we're coming to a close. So two things is that I did look at your book as you explained. The first part was the struggle. The second was the roadmap forward. And I appreciate that. And I want to honor the path forward because that's very important because people get stuck in that darkness and they turn to other things and they, as you mentioned. So I have 5 words when I read a book. I'm now known for this. I pull out 5 words that it made me feel, and I'd like short answers because we're going to wrap up the show shortly. I'll hand this back to Sinette, but I have 5 words that brought it out to me, and I'd love to share them with you. The first response is the word empathy.
Yeah.
That's your answer is just yup.
That is, sorry, you want me to respond? Sorry, I
I'd
wasn't.
like you to respond.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, you'd like me to empathy. This is a little bit off case, but when I had to go for an interview for a lawyer, I had to do the psychometric test. And do you know what stood out? It says here, Wendy, that you believe everyone is lovable.
Mm.
I love people. I love the human spirit. I do not see the fancy clothes. I do not see your position. I do not see all your stuff. I see your soul. It's just stuff. Clothes are stuff. It is not who you are. I see the soul. And if I wrote the book because I never knew that I could feel. I never knew I could feel alive again. And I thought the stuff we've been told is lies because it's been too painful. People have just gone, nope, this is the way to do it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. Okay? I don't want people to suffer when they don't have to. Okay? I
So,
love people.
Wendy, he's got 4 more. You will have to go one
Short.
word and you say one word. So 3
One
Okay.
word
go.
answer.
One word answers now that we're down to. All right. So forgiveness.
Oh, wow, that's big. Okay. Oh, that's making me feel quite emotional. Forgiveness is not saying to whoever's hurt us that it was okay. It is forgiving ourselves for holding that pain. It's forgiving the little girl or the little boy inside of us that was so hurt and saying, I'm your champion now. You're going to be okay. Do not let what somebody did to hurt you take away your power or take away your enjoyment in life. Let it go.
Okay.
Nice.
Next one, that's a beautiful one. Passion.
Passion. Passion is my middle name, honey. I'm
There we go.
passionate about life. I'm passionate about the humans. There is so many. I look at people and I see, some people are broken, but they're not. They're not to be put in the gutter. Never, ever.
Wow. You came alive. All right. Two more. Last one. Joy.
Joy. Joy is something we can't get. It lives within us. So even on our darkest days, it is there.
I love that.
Last one. Hope.
Hope. Wow. Hope. Whether you believe in God or not, He created us with eternity in our heart. That is why we will fight to live. So there is always hope. While you are breathing, while you're on this earth, you matter. You are lovable, you are precious, and I love you.
I love it.
Woo!
Paparazzi, come.
Wow. What a close. Thank you.
Wow, my beautiful viewers on E360, this was amazing. And we don't even have time for a dance. So all I am going to say, I hope that you love the questions. I hope that you have loved Wendy and her book and her story. Please, in the show notes, click on the link to buy her book. Connect with her. Go to her website. My beautiful co-host, all the details is also down below in the show notes. And everywhere I have posted, all the details is in there, as well as connecting to the book. So my beautiful viewers on E360, please look after yourself, smile often, and keep on dancing. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, Wendy.
Bye.
Thank you for
Bye.
sharing.